Yo, what's good? Big Z here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make this.
You got me burning up with your You got me burning up with your
So it's an unreleased Fisher track called Burning Up that he's been playing in his sets a lot recently, and a bunch of other DJs have been playing it in their sets as well. I'm not sure when it's coming out or if it's ever coming out because of copyright reasons, but whatever, I figured I might as well remake it for fun. As always, all the serum patches and stuff will be linked down below. So I'll start with the bass. There's really three bass layers. It's a sub bass, the main bass layer, and just this little bass hit that comes in every once in a while. It's a really deep bass sound, so it'll help if you're listening on headphones or monitors. So here's what they sound like all together. So this main bass sound is really like the main Fisher bass sound you can find in a lot of his tracks. It's really just a saw wave pitched 2 octaves down with one voice of unison. It's got this envelope that's controlling the cutoff of the low pass filter here. In the effects section, I just have a formant filter that is adding some character and drive with this parameter right here. And then I have some tube distortion after that. As for external processing, I'm using the CLA bass plugin to add some more compression and some more distortion. And then I just have some EQ making room for the sub. So now let's talk about this bass hit that comes in every once in a while. And what this sound is 2 different oscillators in serum. Oscillator A, we just have a basic sine wave. And in oscillator B, we have this bipole harmonic wave, which you can find in the digital section at the top. And they both have one voice of unison because it's a bass sound right in the middle of the mix. And it's got this envelope controlling the cutoff of the low pass filter. I'm also modulating the pitch to give it a sharper attack. I've showed this in a ton of other videos, so I'm not really going to go over it, but you can get the idea from me messing around with it. Over in the effects section, I just have some tube distortion on there. And then for external processing, I'm just compressing it with the CLA bass plugin, and I'm adding some EQ after that to take out some highs and also make room for the sub bass. The sub layer is just a really simple patch. It's just a saw wave. You can download it below if you want. I'm not going to play it because you won't be able to hear it on like a laptop or iPhone speakers or whatever. So at the beginning of all Fisher's drops, he always has some catchy lead melody, and this is the one for this track. And this one is really just a saw wave with 14 voices, which is a lot more than I normally use. And it's heavily detuned all the way out to here. And you can barely notice it when you're listening to the original song, but there's some kind of volume automation that's giving some movement to the lead. So I use this LFO to do that. I'll make it more drastic so you can see what it's doing. But I just wanted a really subtle effect on there because that's what it sounded like it had in the original song. In the effects tab, I just have some dimension expander to widen it up, and then I have some soft clip distortion. The only external processing I have on this one is this EQ to make room for the sub. The last thing I want to talk about is this crazy synth drop effect that sounds like this. And basically how I did this was just a huge pitch bend, but the sound itself is a saw wave with 16 voices of unison that's really heavily detuned, and also layered with a square wave that's really heavily detuned too. Also an important part of the sound is the pitch modulation that's going on with this LFO. It's going at a 16th note rate, and it's controlling the fine pitch of both the oscillators. So without it, it just sounds like this. Then with it, Just gives it some cool movement. And this pitch bend actually goes down 4 octaves, and as you can see in Serum, the pitch bend range only goes down 24 semitones, or 2 octaves. So I actually had to split it up and copy the same synth patch into another track, and just do the same exact pitch slide 2 octaves down after. So you can see it's split up between these 2 tracks. So as you can see, most of Fisher's sounds are actually really simple. They're usually just saw waves or variations of saw waves, but what makes his tracks so cool is the groove that he creates with the songwriting, and also his sample selection is just insane. He picks the best drum samples and the best claps and everything to layer his samples with, and that's why his drum loops just sound so fat and so good. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'll play the whole thing again at the end of the video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Spotify below. Other than that, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
You got me burning up with your